Record.
You hit record?
Yep.
Sweet. Thank you, Bailey. I like it when you do it.
I know.
All right, you guys, welcome back. So thank you all for taking the quiz. What do you guys think? Was that all right? Easy quiz, but did everyone connect to it okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, perfect.
Looks like we got everybody's answers. So we're...
Oh, cool. All right. So let's move forward. Let's talk about elimination round number 1. Here we go. So, oh man, see, technical. All right. So, elimination round number 1. You need to speak to 30 people, not call 30 people, speak to 30 people. So where are we going to find these people to call? Okay, we'll go over that in a moment. But just a couple things about this. Speak to 30 people. How many calls do you think it's going to actually take to speak to 30 people? This is your chance to get out of your comfort zone. If you need to, I'm okay if you go out of state. Our focus is speaking directly to sellers, okay? So this week is not about writing offers. This week is not about closing deals. It's about building rapport, creating relationships, asking a lot of questions. Now, where are you going to put these calls? We have a call log. Now, it's going to be, actually, Bailey, can you go ahead and send that to them in the thing? And I'm going to share it here in just a moment. So let me escape out of this real quick. Let's review our call log. So Bailey's going to send that in the chat. Let me know if you guys receive that. We're going to put this in your virtual binder. We'll also put these handouts in Dropbox, so there's no way that you didn't receive it. But this is our call log. It's just a simple spreadsheet. And as you can see, can everyone see my screen? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in this first week, you're going to be working on our call log and working on the first tab of this spreadsheet. So I just want to review this real quick so everyone is fully aware. Okay, I have my little highlighter here. So this is a really basic spreadsheet, you guys. Now I talked to all of you. You all know how to use spreadsheets. I put the first 2 in here just to give you an example. So did you make contact? Yes or no? Here on the very first column is an auto calc. So if I change this answer to yes, it's going to calculate to 2. Okay, so when you say yes to made contact, that means you actually spoke to them. Okay, so it's going to change that auto calc. Does everyone see that? So you want to put the date, what the status, maybe you left a message, what source did you find it? Was it Craigslist? Was it forsalebyowner.com? The address or phone number, the person you spoke to, find out what their asking price is, what they think the value is, their estimated rents, the bed bath count, square footage, just basic information about the property and your conversation. You have a space here to write some notes, and then this very last column here is really important. What do you think their motivation level is? Okay, so this is our call log spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to show you how this looks like in Dropbox. So I'm pulling up, do everyone still see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So I have a very large Dropbox, and as you can see here, I have all the other challenges in here as well. And you guys all are part of this C20 team folder. So we've added to the folder now, and in here where it says call logs is all your specific files, and a template of our call log is here. Does everyone see that? Call log, please rename, do not delete. So this is our template. So let's say if Brenda were to begin her call log. Oh, sorry, I already have it open. what you can do is rename the file by saving it as call log Brenda, and then placing it in your folder in Dropbox. Okay, so I'm in the wrong team. Let me get to the right team. 20. Oops, hold on. C20 team folder, I'm in call logs, and now I'm gonna put that in Brenda's. Okay, save. That's how we rename. Everyone clear on that?
Yes.
Okay, basic Excel stuff. Just save as your own folder. Okay, so when you talk to your 30 calls, I highly recommend, actually, this is a requirement, you log every single person that you call here. Log every single person that you call here. And as you proceed to have more yeses or nos, it's going to automatically calculate here in the first column. Okay, this is really important because the way we're going to hold you accountable is when we check in next Monday night, I need to see 30 in this column. I need to see 30 in this column. So it's really important to log everyone you spoke to, because what if they call you back? Then you can talk to them and then you can change this no to a yes. Got it? Okay, basic Excel spreadsheet stuff. All right, this is where you're going to log your calls. Now, let's talk about what are you going to say?
Karen has a question first. Can we go?
Sure. Karen?
Yeah,
What?
just curious. You have in your spreadsheet asking price and estimated value, and I may be jumping ahead, but wouldn't most of the time those be the same number? Wouldn't the seller value their place at what they're asking for it?
That's a great question. And so here's the thing. Sometimes sellers may be in left field. They may say, okay, well, you know, I want 700,000. Well, sometimes you need to ask them, how did you come up with that? Well, my house is, you know, bigger than that or smaller than this or whatever it may be. So yes, for the most part, their asking price may be their estimated value. And we put those in separate columns because when we go into next week and the following week, you guys are going to learn how to evaluate it, and then you can change it to what you feel is the estimated value.
Okay.
Okay, great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I've run into sellers where you ask them what they're asking for, but they know the value is more because they know their property is worth or maybe needs work. Okay, so they know maybe that their property can be worth more, but they need to do all this work to it. So that could also create the discrepancy. But yes, for the most part, that's very intuitive view, Karen. Most people will typically ask what they think the value is.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. So are we only looking at non-owner occupied, or is that column only relevant if we look at a non-owner occupied?
Which column?
The rental value?
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, so in a moment, actually, Bailey, if you can go ahead and send it. Go ahead and send the property information worksheet.
Oh, sure.
And then also send everyone the scripts, creating your call scripts.
Okay.
The reason why, Rebecca, you asked that question, right? The reason why we put the estimated rents in there is you always want to ask them what they think their house could rent out for. And the reason being is when we get into a little more creative financing, sometimes we can structure offers where if we were able to hold it, you know, would it cash flow? You know, could we set up terms that made sense that if you were to take over the property, could you cash flow it? So this is just one of those columns that, you know, some people will know and others may not. So if they do have an idea, then definitely put it in there. And then we're also going to show you later on in the challenge how to find those rents.
Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Anything else? Did everyone get the 2 next sheets?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So one of the sheets that you should have received, let me see if I can get it here. No, not that. Sorry guys, hang on one second. Okay. So this is one of the sheets. Can you see that, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
This is a property information sheet. So again, part of your conversations this week, is to get to know a little bit more about the property. And I find this useful, just to kind of start the conversation. And I can tell you this. When you first start making your calls and whatnot, you're probably going to it's going to feel very robotic. You're just going to go through this list and like ask, question after question after question. As you move on in your calls and it feels a little more natural and you understand the information that's really important, you'll be able to incorporate these questions. Hopefully, what our goal is that you get really comfortable with speaking to sellers, that you'll be able to incorporate these questions and just get the answers through your conversations. So again, let's review some of these things. The date, name, address, their phone number, their cell phone number, an email address. So in the event you could send them an offer, what's the best way to reach them? Should you call them? Can you email them the offer itself? This description part here, how many bedrooms, how many baths. So a lot of places you're going to be looking for these leads will probably have this information already. That's okay. I like to use this just as a conversation starter. Okay, so I saw that you wrote down that this is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Is that right? Okay, great. Then you can just fill in this information as you go along. Is there anything else I need to know? They may tell you there's a square footage, but there's an add-on, right? So that's good information to know. So just in your conversations, you can fill out this form. And in the beginning, again, if you want to ask every single question, go right ahead. Just know that every single line in here, the more information you get, the better off you'll be in the end. And if you don't get it all in the beginning, it's okay. This week is about creating relationships. Just make sure you get a callback number. Let them know, hey, if there's any other questions that I have, do you mind? Is it okay if I call you back? Because we're going to use this information to not only structure a cash offer, but we're also going to use this information to help you structure maybe a creative offer, maybe a full price offer on terms, maybe a lease option, maybe a flex option, who knows? Again, the more information that you are able to obtain in the beginning, the better off you're going to be in helping you structure some of the offers that you're going to create. All right, so looking down here, everyone just have a quick look-see. Can anyone, just reading through this real quick, what do you think is the most important question here on this page? Anyone?
Why would you want to sell?
Oh my gosh, who said that?
Me.
That's right, Crystal. Why in the world would you want to sell a nice house like this? What happens when you ask that question?
Sometimes they'll give you an answer.
You start to evaluate if they're a motivated buyer.
Let's say find the motivation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it may even take you a few times. Maybe you might have to approach that question backwards, right? Some people will just say, I need the cash, right? Well, what are you going to use that cash for? What is it that you're trying to buy? Maybe they want to buy another house, and so they do have to cash out. Again, all these can be clues to help you create not just the cash offer, but more importantly, a different creative offer. Again, if we can get to the motivation, if we can get to the pain, okay, why they're selling, then that'll give us the ability to, again, get creative. You don't want to be just that lowball cash offer investor, right? You want to be able to attack it using your head, understanding the situation. I was at this one seminar and I learned something that was really, really important. And what I learned was, 95% of the people out there in the US selling their homes, 95% are going to end up using an agent. Okay, that's just the bottom line, because it's the most common way to sell a house. And for those of you that are agents or brokers or whatnot, or have your license, you'll be able to attack those too. 95% are just going to use agents to sell their homes. That other 5%, is what we're looking for as investors. Okay? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the motivation. What happened? Why do they need to sell their house? Why don't they just list it? Right? Maybe it's in crappy condition. Maybe they live out of state and they inherited the property. Maybe their whatever spouse, partner, son, daughter, whoever's living in the house has a drug problem. They need to get rid of it. Maybe they have tenants and the tenants are giving them grief. We got to find that motivation. We got to create the deal. So if you're just going after the 95% that just wants to sell retail, you can't create those deals. So you as an investor, your duty here is to get to the motivation. Will everyone be motivated? No. Some people will just be like, the market's doing really well, so I just want to sell top dollar so I can get out of Dodge or retire in the Philippines or go to Costa Rica or whatever it is, right? And they can wait. They can sit on it until they get, $1 million for their, $750,000 house, right? We got to find those motivated sellers. This is what this game is about. All right, so let me just warn you. In my experience, your first 5 calls are going to be crap. But it's important to get comfortable in your own skin as an investor. This week is about getting comfortable talking to people in whatever uncomfortable situation that you're in, okay? This week, I want to remind you, is not about getting a deal down or closing it. It's not about evaluating the property. It's simply about having conversations. It's about building relationships. It's about building rapport and getting to know someone, okay? So I know this assignment sounds so very simple. And I know maybe in that past podcast or seminar that you took, they told you to do this. And today, starting today, we're going to hold your feet to the fire and we want you to do this. This week is so critical. I want you to get so comfortable in your skin as an investor, because what happens when you start marketing? What happens when you start spending on your leads? When you start mailing things out and these people are calling you and you don't have this in here? I'm a real estate investor. You don't have this totally confident as an investor. You don't have this totally confident on what questions to ask, how to get to the motivation. This week is about getting comfortable in that, okay? Recognizing what motivation sounds like. So again, it's so simple. And make the calls, put yourself out there and talk to these people. All right, let's talk about scripts real quick.
Let me stop the thing.